give you guys some information about Cern that you can research. A lot of these things you're going to have to research. I can't put the reference clips in these videos for reasons that I just stated. All right, but let's get into it. Cern is a group of scientists that have a collider. Their goal is to open portals to different dimensions and realities. They want to summon gods, entities, to this dimension so they can understand the God particle and more. But the main thing they want to understand is the God particle. You can research this. The God particle. That's what Cern wants to understand. You see, but what they're doing has consequences. But they don't care about those consequences. You have certain CERN scientists that have quit because they didn't agree in the direction that CERN was moving in. They didn't agree with it. You see, CERN has been linked to what is called the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is a phenomenon known as when realities split. Thus meaning this: Bernstein Bears, Bernstein Bears. Which one do you remember growing up? The children's books. Bernstein, S-T-E-I-N, or Bernstein, S-T-A-I-N. Which one do you remember? Which one did you read? For those that said Bernstein, you have just experienced the Mandela effect, because many people say they remember Bernstein and not Bernstein. Another example is this: Nelson Mandela, the most famous one. I remember being taught in history class, in school, before 2012, that guy died in prison. That he died in prison. Turns out, that never happened. So if you thought he died in prison, you just experienced the Mandela effect. Last one is this: cereal. Cap'n Crunch, Captain Crunch. Which one do you remember? Cap in, as if you finna put a cap in somebody, or Captain Crunch? Which one do you remember? If you said Captain, you just experienced the Mandela effect. Because wouldn't it make sense for that box to say Captain, since they say Captain on the cereal box? But turns out it's Cap'n. Okay. So the Mandela effect has been linked to CERN because this is a hypothesis. I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying it's untrue. This is a hypothesis that a lot of people have put out there. When they launched that machine, it split reality.
I want to let you know the first part of the last season that just came out, it only played the first half of the season. The last half of the season is going to come out after the 5th of July. For a reason. Anyway. All I'm going to say is this. All I'm going to say. All I'm going to say. All I'm going to say is that. Anyway, let's play this real quick. Can y'all hear that? Before I break this song down, can you guys hear that? All right, cool. Now, this song is old. This is an old song from the 80s. And guess what? If you guys knew what went on in the 80s, which is something very similar that's going to happen the 5th, this song came out after that. Happened in the 80s. But in the 80s, it was the introduction to what's going on. So let's break down the visuals, and we're going to break down the words. She said, do you want to hear about the deals we're making? This is not black people talking. I'm sorry, this is not melanin people. They're saying, do you want to hear about the deals we're making? Now, ask yourself a question. Who is she asking this question to? You'll get the answer in a minute. Just ask her, who is she asking this question to? Who is she talking to? Now, this is so funny. I just spoke on Melanie Bean. If you guys watch this show, you know there's a connection between her and the melanated guy, the black guy. If I only could make a deal with God. Now, people think when they hear God, they're thinking about God and Jesus wrong. That's there to fool y'all. The person they're going to let loose on the 5th is who they're talking about. I want to get him to swap places. Swap places. They're referring to ultimate and different realities. This side of the Cern and on that side of the Cern. This side of reality and that side of reality. Now, we know we should say a lot, peace reflections. I'm not going to say who started that, but anyway, we say that a lot, peace reflection. This is her looking at her reflection. She's looking at herself in the mirror. It's very important. Now I wrote a poem with thunder. I'm going to post it also. There is thunder in our hearts. That's true. You see that clock on that tree? We're running out of time. Now, we're running out of time. If you watch this show, it gives you great detail on what I'm talking about. So again, if you have not watched this show, catch up on it before the 5th. That's all I'm going to say. Now, you said this clip came in upside down. That's the upside down. That's reflection. That's the opposite of reality. That was shot like that for a reason. And again, these things are going to play into what's going to happen the 5th. Now, I keep saying it's you and me. I'm going to ask y'all again. Who is she talking to? You and me. Let's make a deal with God. You and me. It's you and me. You won't be unhappy. began laying down like a casket. Nosebleeds. Now look at that mathematic equation. Look at that triangle. Look at the triangle right here. Mathematic equation. We got a triangle. We got blood right here. It's small details. Small details. Small details. If you look really close, you'll see one dot, a big dot, and a small dot. Big dot is Earth. Small dot is the moon. And they're trying to find out how to get to the other side. They are. They're trying to find out how to get to the other side. Now, if you're black and melanated, there is no need for us to try. Melanin is carbon, etheric, dark matter. There's no trying for us, but the others are trying to do something. Now, I'm going to break this down in a minute. Now, she keeps saying it's you and me, so I'll give you guys, you ever heard of this me, myself, and I? She keeps saying it's you and me. It's you and me. That's two. Me, myself, I. That's three. She's only speaking about two parts of it. It's you and me. She have yet to speak about the I part. So she's making connections on two physical beings, in a sense, not this. The clock again. Tick, tick, tick. We're running out of time. Look at this right here. Let me steal this moment from you now. Watch this. Now, well, just remember, look at the tapes. Just look at the tapes. Just look at the tapes. And the tapes, only tapes that play music. It's music. Ironically enough, the song they play for her to be unlocked is this song right here. Watch this. Let's exchange the experience. Now, who's saying this? Let's switch sides. Let's exchange the experience. Who's saying that? Who's saying let's switch sides and let's exchange the experience? I'll come over there and you come over here. Who's saying that? Well, here you go. Look. Now, she switched sides. Her physical body is right here. Look at this. Now, who do y'all think that is? Who do you, as a matter of fact, if you watch this show this season, you will see all the arms coming out of his back that was connected to the earth on the other side, to everybody. His arms came out of his back, connected to everybody, not Melanie. And he's controlling them from that side. So in their head, he's singing this song, let's switch sides. Let's exchange the experience. Right here. So when we fire this Cern up, or whatever you want to call it, this is what they're trying to pull this being over here. Now, this being, I'm gonna tell y'all this, was kicked off Earth because he gained powers in the way he was supposed to. I know powers is a cliche. We're gonna use that word for right now. Now, who kicked him off this planet? Ra. sun god Ra exiled Shiva from this planet. Now, if you go in Revelations, they lied in Revelations. Let's be clear, it's lied. But they speak about he'll be bound for 1,000 years. How many times can 100 go into 10? Well, how many times can 100 go into 1,000? 10 times. 10 times the years. 10 times the years. So that's 10 years. When you divide it all the way down, that's 10 years. So from 2012 to 2022 is 10 years. It's 10 years. So look at this. Revelations lied. The sun god Ra spoke about this evil entity that gained powers by tricking his great-great-grandson Marduk. And before Marduk was allowed to leave Earth and go back and forth to Nibiru and Mars, they knew, Ra knew, that Shiva was loose on Earth. Sun god Ra was sometimes gain the body of Marduk in search of Shiva, because Shiva removed those needs of the pineal gland. He did. If you look, they have like a pocketbook. So now the Medes are the Rudraksha beads that his minion is passing out to lock all y'all down. So if you're walking around with those beads on your neck, you're going to be locked down. But wait, it gets better, because those beads, look at it, those beads draw power from you. They do. Now those beads draw power from you. I wonder where that power of those beads could be going. I wonder where it's going. I wonder where it's going, because the pineal gland was for black people. Like it or not, it's a fact. Until he, Shiva, deceived Marduk by sending a woman to Marduk. And they got in a fight and altercation. But it was after she gained access or information to where some of those pocketbooks were. They had the pineal glands. So what Shiva did was took the pineal gland, the pine cone. So the seeds of the pine cone into Rudraksha beads. And he removed those. And we passing them out now on Earth and locking y'all dumbasses down. Now, I don't say dumbass like I'm being fun, because we a lot of people see. I had one, got rid of it. Now I'm telling you this. So let me say ignorant. Let me take dumb back. Let's say ignorant. So I had one. It's out of here. So now, why is there a push to get Shiva back here? What is the sun doing right now? Huh? What is the sun doing? It's drawing a separation between two races. Not the sub-races, the main two. It's drawing a line. It's either you got melanin or you don't. I'm not doing this. And for most folks, you outside and it can be the UV index 4 or 5. You in danger. Let alone 9. And as I did, and I'm gonna say it again, collab doing the reason or whatever. And it was like 8 and 9. And I showed you guys also what that does to the amygdala and fair skin. I showed y'all that. So why y'all calling Shiva back? I'm Bill Gates. Why you doing that? Y'all want more authority to block out the sun? Or why we gonna lock the planet down? Keep y'all inside? Why is that? Let's look at fair game, because they can go outside. And we can't go outside. So let's everybody come in the house. What you mean? Well, I have 5 brothers. I don't, just give an example. I can't go outside, I'm upset. So I'm gonna lie to my mom. So we all in trouble, and none of us go outside. They can, but I can't. But I don't want them to. Why? Because I'm gonna see them do things I can't do, and then I become more and more aware of the things they can do that I can't do. So these people, Asians, whoever, Caucasians, are trying to bring him back, and they will succeed. The problem is he can't change it. He can't undo what Ra's doing. Not gonna happen. It's gonna be a war. It is. If your ass confused or on the line.
For life to continue to be on a constant evolution, every single particle which constitute this universe have to abide by existential laws established by some transcendental entities. Before anything could ever be born, the pre-existing must perish and vanish from existence. A perpetual cycle of creation and destruction, birth and death, which keeps the universe balanced and somehow preserves it from chaos. In Hinduism, there's a godly entity pretty much accountable for this eternal cycle of life. The god Shiva, whose name in some accounts can be translated as that which is not. The auspicious god regarded as the destroyer within the supreme triad of deities, with Vishnu the preserver and Brahma the creator, whom together formed the holy trinity of Hinduism. Shiva is a quite complex figure, as he may represent goodness, benevolence, and can also serve as a protector. He is associated with time and particularly with the destruction of all things. Nevertheless, his role as the god of destruction is intricately involved with creation. The implication is that without death, life cannot possibly exist, and therefore personifies the inexorable passage of time and out of destruction as he creates new life. According to Indian traditions, the universe is thought to regenerate in cycles, which means that this destruction is not arbitrary, but constructive. At the end of each cycle he ends the world, which in turn allows the coming forth of creation. This conception of his role can make us understand why many perceive Shiva as the absolute nothingness, simply because according to the process of the universe, everything comes from nothing and goes back to nothing. He is the womb from which everything is born, and the oblivion into which everything would be sucked back. Everything comes from Shiva and inevitably goes back to Shiva. For practitioners of Shiva devotion, he is by himself the principal manifestation of ultimate divinity. Shiva is perceived in Shaivism tradition as the great god, the supreme lord who creates, protects, and continually transforms the universe. In practice, Shiva stands with Vishnu and the goddess Shakti, where he is depicted as a combined figure of himself on the right and Vishnu on the left. While in another fused representation he appears with his female counterpart in the same configuration as with Lord Vishnu. This represents the synthesis of masculine and feminine energies of the universe, and illustrates the union of these principles as the root and womb of all creation. In such regard, it seems likely that Shiva and the goddess may have had roots in the pre-Aryan civilization of the Indus Valley mythology. If we pay enough attention, there's an Indus Valley seal depicting a three-faced figure sitting cross-legged in a yogi style, suggesting the great yogi ascetic that the god was meant to become in later Hinduism. In the Vedas, it's believed that the figure of Shiva like we know him might be the result of a combination between various older Vedic deities. Many think that he may have particularly evolved from the Vedic god of storm, and emerged into a single major divinity. Although he is thought to be an older pre-Indo-European god, whose attributes appear on seals from the Indus Valley civilization as previously mentioned, it was not until the 2nd century BCE that the god came into his own as the equal, and sometimes the superior of Vishnu while being worshipped by his fellow gods as mentioned in the Mahabharata. The powerful deity may be represented in slightly different ways depending on a particular culture. But the most common depiction of Shiva shows him in a sitting position with his legs crossed, the typical posture of ascetic meditation while holding a variety of significant items. The god may as well appear standing on his right leg, with the left one folded in front of the right knee, and holds the trishula that quite resembles to a trident as his mighty weapon. He is often seen carrying a rosary while having Vasuki, his snake garlanded all around his neck. In this guise, he usually represents Lord of the Dance, who performs the Tandava within a circle of fire, portraying the never-ending cycle of time. Being a divinity so heavily associated with the cyclic occurrence of destruction and creation, Shiva possessed the corollary attributes to both events, among which the divine ball of flame responsible for destruction, while the drum often fastened to his trident is held accountable for creation. Shiva equally has 3 horizontal white stripes and bears a 3rd vertical eye on his forehead, which burns desires to ashes. That eye can transmit his inner radiance with such power that could wreak havoc anything it has gazed upon. In order to lift the curse placed on Chandra, the god of the moon, Lord Shiva told him to take refuge in his matted hair to protect him from the malediction. Chandra thereafter devoted himself to the god, reason why he is depicted wearing the headdress of a crescent moon, which adorns his overall personality. The skull often seen by his side represents the 5th head of the creator god, Brahma, which he decapitated to get rid of his pride over the imperfection of human's nature, while in the meantime asserted his own authority. But Shiva was condemned to carry that head for a long period before he was purified in the Ganges River. But this myth seems to have more than one related version. To settle an agreement between Brahma and Vishnu regarding the accountability of whom had created the universe, Shiva made a pillar of light which appeared in front of both divinities, who, curious about it, decided to find the extremities of the strange pillar. Taking the form of a swan, Brahma went upwards flying, while Vishnu in the form of a boar went down digging. And finally, after searching, they both couldn't find anything no matter how far they went.